Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Okay, hi everybody. I did see a question before I came up here that was asking how Route 66 was. It was like 2,500 miles, full trip, rounded. And we started in Chicago, dropped down through Illinois, then Missouri, then a small part of Kansas, and Oklahoma, and Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California.
How are you finding Google Plus?
How am I finding Google Plus? On my computer. It's on my computer.
How are you?
Yeah,
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I'm just starting with the Google Plus, so I'm going to feel my way around, and then I'm going to try and put some stuff out there, and maybe play with some videos there and that kind of thing. It looks very interesting. Looks like it's got some things that are a little bit better than Facebook feature-wise. It might summarize it a little different. The color schemes I'm not real keen in. Like on the iPhone app, down at the bottom, it has a like a notification thing. And when you click on that, the two difference in the colors, like if you've read it and haven't read it, they're kind of close together, like a light gray and a white. And sometimes it's kind of tough to tell which ones I've read and which ones I haven't.
There's a question right there. I love it, and I know you're going to answer it, by Rob Heathcote. Do you see it? Fourth one from the bottom. Did you stop at Radiator Springs?
Oh, no, but we saw Toe Mater, who is actually called Toe Tater, and he's in Kansas. And you got to remember, Kansas, I think, is less than around 10 miles of Kansas is all that's on Route 66. And in this little town, Baxter Springs, is this tow truck with eyes in the windshield and all that kind of thing. This truck was the inspiration for that character, Toe Mater. And we did stop in a town, I want to say it was in Texas. And downtown, they had this, what was like an old filling station with like the repair bays and everything. And at night, it was all lit up. I'll try and find that photo of that and put it on my Facebook. But that was probably the inspiration for a lot of the things you see in Cars. And Cars is one of my more favorite movies, actually. I like that. I like Cars better than I did Cars 2, but that was me.
Airwolf asked the question, since you know a lot about politics, have you considered being a mayor of your town?
No, I was mayor pro tem for a while, but a good friend of mine was and I helped him. He was recently elected mayor in the city of Altoona, Iowa. I really had no desire to do that, because then you end up in a more you have to be, you can't be yourself if you're the mayor, because you got to please everybody. And that's why I like being on the city council, because I was always able to speak my mind. They kept re-electing me, so they must have liked what I said and what I did. And what is your name on Google Plus? Joe Perillo.
No, it's just Joe Perillo.
Yeah, Joe Perillo.
Right now, your avatar looks like what?
Oh, my avatar, I used to belong to this club as a kid. It's called the Mickey Mouse Club, so I got these big Mickey Mouse ears on right now, but I'll change that in the future. And it says Joey across my chest. But I have one of my wife too with ears, and hers says Annette, and that's not her name.
How was technology?
I've been to San Clemente. I was in the Marine Corps and stationed I was at Camp Pendleton, which is fairly close to San Clemente.
How was technology when you were a kid? Like, what was the technology? I mean, you said about TV, but what technology did you have beyond that? That was a question asked. Well, no. Why are you? Oh, that?
I'm going to show them.
Oh, I thought you were going to drink out of it. I'm like, no, that was mine.
Technology was if you got two of these, and you poked a hole in the bottom of this, and you'd attach the string all the way to another one, and you had one on the other side, you could use that as a telephone. You could talk into it, and they'd hold it up to their ear at the other end, and then you would listen at it. That was our technology pretty much. TV was just coming out. I was a young kid, and I talked about that the other day where I used to charge kids in the neighborhood to come in and watch the test pattern on our little small TV, and it was actually about that size. Not much bigger than the screen on an iPhone nowadays.
Captain Midnight Decoder Ring.
Yeah, I used to watch Captain Midnight, and his sidekick was Mud with 2 D's, M-U-D-D.
You were talking about a sci-fi thing that you saw this weekend, or you heard about it?
When I forget how long ago, and it said when I Googled it, but it was the only thing I could remember was the computer's name was Colossus, and the character, I thought his name was Saban. So we were out yesterday, and I mentioned that, and I said, well, I'm going to Google that, and I did, and I put in Colossus, and it came back. I found out that there was a computer called Colossus, a real computer, but it also mentioned this movie, and it was an American computer. It was called Colossus, and Russia had a computer. It was called the Guardian, and the gentleman's name in charge of Colossus was Fabin, F-A-B-I-N. And somewhere along the script, the two computers communicated with each other and pretty well were kind of taking over society. And the whole storyline was Dr. Fabin was trying to kill the computer. And I can't remember how they killed it, but now that I have all the information, I'm going to find the movie and rent it and watch it again. Maybe I'll report back to you. But if you really want to read about it, they had a real nice synopsis in Google. And you can just put in Colossus and it'll come up and tell you about the movie. But it was a good movie.
There's a YouTube question. Bingsta's relaying it. Joe, how do I get my grandmother more interested in new tech?
I'll tell you what, your grandmother, if you have siblings, or if I don't know your age, but say you're married and say you have kids, or there's younger kids in the family, get either an iPhone or an iPad or a computer in front of them and communicate with Facebook or Skype or something where they actually see the person they're talking to.
You mean FaceTime?
FaceTime, I'm sorry. FaceTime. So they can see each other. It's so neat when we go to my father-in-law who's 93, and we'll line up a talk with either Chris or our son in Texas or our son in Des Moines, and FaceTime with him, and he can see it on the phone, and he really gets a kick out of it. Now, he was really into tech as a man. He worked for a local television station. He was the one that Chris credits with his first foot into technology, in that he got a VIC-20, which was a Commodore type computer, just a little box, a keyboard basically with everything inside it. So.
And he's 96.
My grandfather's 96.
Oh, I'm sorry. He aged 3 years. He's 96. But he just stopped riding his bicycle last year. So, wow, you can see exercise helps. I need to do some of that.
Now, why do you say that, Dad? I want to ask a qualifier. When you say a FaceTime or a Skype, why is that important for seniors in technology?
Well, I think it makes their mind active in that then they physically see the person they're talking to. And sometimes in a letter, even a handwritten letter or a handwritten note, you don't always get the gestures or the facial expression or get the tone that a message is being delivered. And sometimes they can be a little offended, and they feel like they're off and no one cares about them. If they actually see you and they know you see them, they can get a big kick out of that. They like that. So we like company.
You're a spreadsheet guy. What do you think about? Someone asked, what do you think about Google Docs?
Google Docs, I haven't used them as much as I probably should. I need to get into it a little more. I guess I'm what I call old school, that I want to protect my worksheets. So I'm afraid if I get them out there in Never Never Land, that someone somehow will get to them. Now, all my kids point out that if I got them on my computer, someone could get to them some way if I left my computer on, for example. But still, it's me being maybe overcautious. I've done a little bit, but not as much as I should be doing and will be doing.
Maybe one more question?
Sure, one more question. Yeah, the Long Ranger. Someone's asking if we ever found the old radio shows on the computer. Well, when we were on Route 66, I had Sirius in our car, and they had a radio station that had all the old radio shows on it, and Inner Sanctum, and Jack Benny, and The Shadow. Yeah, but I haven't. I'd like to find the old television series. There was one called Captain Video, which goes way back, and there was one called not Commando Cody, because they did make a movie about him, Rocket Man. There's just a lot of the old movies I watch. I'm a big watcher of all the old shows on television.
So if they want to find you, they can circle you on Google Plus. We'll put that link in the video description. They can also subscribe to you on YouTube. We'll make sure we get them pointed to that.
Right.
And then your email address, if they want to email you, joe@perillo.com. You're going to try one more question there? You know, it's really bold to look at what they're saying on YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm looking here where they're talking about how much student loan payment should be each month.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Ask the question.
I agree with him. He's saying no more 10 to 15% sounds reasonable to me. Education's getting to be a costly thing, but don't forget there is a tax deduction for payments related to education, and you can get on the internet and read up on that kind of thing. But you got to budget. That's the key to everything. And I do have to do, maybe before I leave, I'll do something real quick on budgeting. But a budget's the key to everything. You only spend what you have, no more than what you have. And student loans, because it's getting more and more expensive, it's something you have to budget for, or you work your way through, which is even better if you can do that.